First thing we're going to do is we're going to have a call to order, roll call, and determination of a quorum.
Chair Pulitz,
Present.
Vice Chair Norvell,
Here.
Treasurer Rogers, Member Hamilton, Member Horton, Member Hutter,
Here.
Member Golden. A quorum is present.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. I think Mr. Takus should lead us with the pledge. To the flag
of the United States of America,
United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Looks like Mr. Golden has just joined us. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, thank you guys very much for allowing me to do this remotely today. I appreciate it.
I assume everyone had a chance to review the minutes from our past meeting. Is there someone that'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes? Okay, Curtis moved to approve. Any seconds?
Second.
Harlow, second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? And one abstention. Okay, Carl is abstaining. Very good. The chairman reserves the right to modify the agenda in order to most effectively process the agenda items. Items may be taken out of order. Items may be combined for consideration by the authority. Items may be pulled or removed from the agenda at any time. Members of the public who wish to address the airport authority may speak on agendized and non-agendized matters related to the airport. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person or topic. If your item requires extended discussion, please request the chairman to calendar the matter for a future airport authority meeting. The public may provide public comment in advance of the meeting by written submission to the following email addresses: manager@carsoncity.com. For inclusion of reference in the minutes of the meeting, your public comments must include your full name and address and be submitted via email by not later than 5 p.m. the day before the meeting. The Carson City Airport Authority values your input. Members of the public who wish to provide live public comment may do so during the designated public comment periods indicated on the agenda in person. Okay. Pardon me? Yes, is there any public comment at this time? There is not. Very good. I would assume then that we can move right into public hearings. Is that correct? Oh, let's get our engineer's report done quickly. Let's do that. Thank you.
All right, so for the record, Brian Martinez-Molos, Wood Rogers. So since our last meeting, our primary efforts have been, we reported a while ago about the runway shoulder or runway drainage project. The airport planning firm, Kaufman, has been working on the environmental documentation. Wood Rogers has prepared the preliminary grant application stuff to coordinate with the airport manager on. So we will get that submitted as soon as the environmental's done. And then in addition, we provided some additional support for the Arrowhead tenant, primarily some plan review for the taxiway crossing that they were working on. So that's been our primary efforts. I don't know, Corey, if you want to touch on the other stuff.
Okay, we have a report from Armstrong Engineering. So, project updates. Acquire snow removal equipment. Snowplow truck, tentative delivery in September, pending a meeting with the FAA. ACI will participate in an acceptance of equipment. So this project, the FAA has informed us that we need to work out a couple of items before we can accept delivery of the truck. We have a meeting with them tomorrow, Steve Takus and I, to go over this and figure these things out. The aeronautical survey for nighttime approach offset PAVI construction. Titan Electrical started on September 9th. Will continue through the week of September 16th. So that work actually finished yesterday. There was no runway closures this week, but last week we did have runway closures from 8 to 6. We tried to accommodate as many operations as we could, especially on that first day. We did have a closure excluding prior permission on the first day of the closure, and we had the runway open up until 8 a.m. and after 6. The offset PAPI and the new PAPI are fully installed at this point, and they were turned on. They seem to be functioning, but we're going to have to wait for the FAA flight test before that project can be finalized. Following the FAA flight test, there will be some additional construction to remove the old infrastructure and kind of complete the electrical for the new PAPIs. And hopefully, the result of that FAA flight test is that we get approval for the nighttime approach without having to do any additional construction. That's what we're hoping for.
Corey, that is going to be for a Category C aircraft as well when it's approved, correct?
My understanding is the approach is not changing. The approach itself.
Therefore, I went in and looked at all of the old presentation because I was excited we're getting close. And it does seem like in the original assessment and analysis that the straight-in approach would not be able to be beyond Cat Bravo because of other factors. But I guess that technically the circling approach from the east, so that's the GPS Bravo, will be the one that's now approved for nighttime Cat C and D. Is that correct, Corey?
I don't
think so.
have all of those specific details.
No? So the straight in is going to be nighttime approved?
Yes.
I only know of the straight in being nighttime approved.
Okay.
If there's more than that, I'm just not
You just
aware
need
of
to
it.
slow down, Harlow.
And Corey, if I'm not mistaken, if I go way back to all of our discussions, way back when, this was to accommodate Category C. Whether they're going to change the approach or not with this is what I was told back in the day when we were dealing with our consultants. Can we go back and look at those notes just to see?
Yeah, I'll look into that and
Okay.
get y'all a response.
That'd be great, because I thought that was one of the big reasons. Okay,
I know the primary goal was the nighttime approval.
yeah, but,
Um,
yes.
but I will look into the change in category and see if that applies or not and get y'all a response.
Okay.
I did have a quick question.
Yep.
As part of that, because I've been out of town on the airplanes at Reno because of the closures, I'm super excited this was happening. Is part of the program, did we change out the Plassey on Niner to a PAPI now or a VASI? Or is it still pulsed?
Niner is not changing at all.
Niner didn't change,
Mm.
but we changed the PAPI units on the 27 end, and that's why we had to close the runway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lassie has been gone for a long time.
Well, I'm just old and don't remember things. And so the construction out in the back 40 has also been completed offsite?
So as of right now, there's no construction offsite.
Okay. So the second PAPI was not part of the final?
So there are two PAPIs. They're both
On airport.
on airport.
Okay.
And there is more to this project if the FAA does not approve it as is, and that would be the MOUSEF.
Right.
Which we're all hoping that it is approved as is. And Lean Engineering is confident that it will be. And we won't have to do the MOUSEF.
So following flight check activity, if it is approved, there's still charting activity that needs to happen, I guess, to rev the plates and make it
Yes.
authorized.
Amendment to the approach, standard instrument
Yep.
approach procedure.
Yeah.
Do you know if the PAPI lights will be on once it's constructed, just for someone like me to go look and see how it, or are they going to leave it off until the flight testing is
They'll be
done?
off until the flight testing. That's one of the reasons why there's still construction that needs to be done,
Got it.
because the new ones are not certified. So we have to continue to use the old ones until the new one is certified. So there's infrastructure in place to make it to where they both work, or actually not really. They disabled the new ones. The old ones work right now, and then once the new ones are approved, then that'll be switched over, and all that infrastructure will be removed from the old ones. So that's the remaining work that needs to get done.
Do we know timing for the flight check?
We don't. I know they don't do it past November, so it'll be sometime between now and November if they're going to get it done before the winter.
You mean the current PAPI will be removed once the offset PAPI is completely approved?
Yes, yes.
So there'll be no glide slope guidance
Yes, there
straight
will.
in?
Yes, there will.
2 sets of PAPIs installed.
It's offset. One is straight in, and one is giving you that angled approach.
Mhm.
That's the whole reason for this, is to give you more guidance before you make your final straight in.
So the new ones are just being replaced. I mean, the old ones are being replaced. There will still be the straight in, straight off the runway.
Any other comment or discussion on the offset PAPIs? No? Well, should we move on to public hearing? We only have one item on the agenda tonight, and that's for discussion and possible action. Approval of a license agreement for the solicitation of an FBO to manage airport-owned tie-downs on the northwest ramp. Staff summary?
So the airport does not operate an FBO. So we lack the resources to properly manage the tie downs on the northwest ramp in particular, because they're so far away from airport staff offices. It is in the best interest of the community for the airport to not compete with the commercial FBO operators on the field. Instead, we should be creating opportunities for small businesses in the community. By soliciting a commercial service FBO to manage those tie downs, we will likely increase revenues for the airport, because it'll be a much higher level of collection. And also it'll improve customer service because they're properly equipped to handle the customers. And it'll also contribute to the local economy. The rate that was determined that's in this license agreement is based off of the current rate that's on the northwest ramp for the tie downs that are being rented out to a commercial FBO. This is a license agreement. It's not a ground lease. So that enables us to approve this as the authority, and it won't have to go through the city's process because it's not a lease. And this is also can be gives us a little bit more leeway. You know, this agreement can be canceled if it needs to be. And I think that about covers it. Does anyone have any questions?
Can I just add one thing? The reason it's a license agreement is because we're not leasing the ground. You know, like the existing leases we have in the airport each have an area of ground that's leased to the tenant that they either build a building on or have ramp area or do something. And then, and it used to be that we leased out the tie-down spaces that way as well. We just leased out an area for tie-downs. Well, the FAA came to us years ago and said, you know, if you do it that way, we won't pay for the maintenance of the pavement. So we converted all those leases such that the tenant just gets the right to use those tie-downs. Here, all we're dealing with is the tie-downs. So it is more properly a license agreement rather than a lease. And that's why it's a license agreement. And as Corey pointed out, because we're not doing a lease here, it doesn't trigger the provisions of NRS 844, which requires us to take it to the city because they're not going to care anyway. And not about tie-downs, I don't think. So at any rate, that's why it's done as a license agreement.
Okay, thank you. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this issue? Yes. Please come up and state your name. Turn on the mic.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board. Denny French, Carson City, Nevada. I'm sorry I'm late. I did not have agenda available that I could find online, and I'm not seeing one here, but I came in at a point where, thank you,